Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Lin, let's wait and see. The young man coldly uttered a harsh remark. As an overlord with an apex level unit, he felt entitled to say such things. When he contacted Lin Yu earlier, he offered to exchange Lin Yu's snake scale for a position as a deputy leader in the Hall of Kings. In his opinion, Lin Yu was getting a good deal. After all, the Hall of Kings was currently the most popular alliance. Countless professionals flocked to join. Ordinary people couldn't even get in. In the future, with his identity and strength as an apex-level overlord, he could definitely make the Hall of Kings the most powerful professional alliance on the island. To obtain the position of deputy leader in such an alliance, all he needed was one piece of equipment. Wasn't this like a pie falling from the sky? But Lin Yu refused him. Not only did he refuse, he also blocked him. Truly ignorant and arrogant, without any foresight. A supreme-grade defense equipment like this? If my golden behemoth wears it, it will definitely be able to take down those wild monsters. What a pity. The young man was very angry, but he could only vent his frustration helplessly because he had no control over the owner of the snake scale. He didn't even know where Lin Yu was on the island. If he knew, he could have taken some private actions. In 24 hours, the snake scale will be auctioned off. I need to come up with a plan. Right. Suddenly, a bright idea flashed in the young man's mind. The number of members in the Hall of Kings has exceeded 100,000. With so many alliance members, as the leader, am I afraid I can't get gold coins? If each member contributes 1 gold coin as an entrance fee to me, that would be over 100,000 gold coins. The young man took a deep breath. Over 100,000 gold coins, how many golden behemoths could he recruit with that? But at that moment, a message from Myriad World's floating island appeared in his mind. Overlords can obtain a maximum of 10,000 gold coins through crowdfunding, borrowing, and other means. The main ways to obtain gold coins are hunting wild monsters, killing enemies, normal item trading, and so on. The corners of the young man's mouth twitched. 10,000 gold coins seemed like a lot. But in a short time, this amount of gold coins would be nothing at all. Sure enough, the floating island wouldn't let him exploit any bugs. But having something is better than having nothing. I can establish a core team within the alliance and promise to improve the treatment of core members in the future. In this way, collecting a gold coin as a membership fee should not be a problem. And it won't affect the other ordinary members within the alliance. The young man was very happy and felt very clever. Without hesitation, the young man immediately opened the alliance channel he had created and issued a message as the leader, announcing the establishment of a core team within the alliance. As soon as the message was sent, the alliance channel became lively. Soon, there were alliance members complaining, feeling that the leader was trying to scam money. 1 gold coin as a membership fee, it may not be a lot, but it's not a small amount either. Most importantly, no other alliance charged a so-called membership fee. Wasn't this just a money-making scheme? Amidst these complaints, many alliance members immediately left the alliance. But at the same time, some people chose to pay a gold coin and join the young man's core team. This was because they believed that the young man, as an apex-level overlord with a rare apex-level unit, had a promising future. If they could become a core team member of such a big shot, they would definitely benefit in the future. Just 1 gold coin, consider it an investment. There were actually quite a few professionals who had this kind of thinking. And in return, the young man received a large amount of gold coins. This is amazing. This is the prestige of an apex-level overlord. With just a few words, just an empty promise, I can make those professionals willingly hand over their gold coins. The young man was excited beyond words, feeling like he had opened the door to a new world, instantly coming up with more ideas to exploit alliance members. Of course, these ideas had to be put on hold. If he brought them up now, he would truly be seen as a scammer. An hour later, he received over 600 gold coins as membership fees, indicating that his core team had reached over 600 members. However, the longer it went on, the fewer professionals handed over their gold coins. Gradually, no one paid anymore. After noticing this, The young man's mind quickly turned, and he immediately spoke in the alliance channel, claiming that the core team would only recruit 1,000 members, and the spots would be given on a first-come, first-served basis. After this round of operations, many professionals eagerly signed up. Soon, 1,000 gold coins were in hand. The youth immediately announced that he would temporarily stop recruiting core members, which made some of the alliance members who were still on the fence regretful. They even privately contacted the youth, hoping that he would increase the number of spots. The youth knew very well that those in power cannot go back on their word, so he naturally refused. The establishment of the core team caused the Hall of Kings to lose some alliance members, but it also made the entire alliance more cohesive. Furthermore, the youth's prestige within the alliance skyrocketed. In addition, the youth was counting money until his fingers cramped in his own territory. It must be admitted that the youth's moves were quite impressive. He killed several birds with one stone. With 1,000 gold coins, I can recruit 20 golden behemoths. The youth swallowed his saliva as he considered whether summoning golden behemoths was cost-effective or if he should save the gold coins for bidding on the snake scale equipment. He had reason to believe that he could definitely win the bid for the snake scale with 1,000 gold coins, because at this stage, there was no professional who could be wealthier than him. The snake scale is not an ordinary equipment, but a high-level equipment with special effects. It can arm my strongest golden behemoth, greatly increasing its combat power and the drop rate of valuable items from higher-level monsters in the wilderness. Furthermore, after obtaining better equipment, I can replace the snake scale and continue to sell it to other professionals. Therefore, bidding on the snake scale is completely meaningful. But the recruitment of troops is also important. Thinking of this, the youth took out 500 gold coins and recruited 10 golden behemoths. The remaining 500 gold coins were stored away, waiting for tomorrow's bidding on the snake scale. If he didn't have enough gold coins by then, he would borrow from alliance members. As the leader of an alliance and an apex-level overlord, he believed that no one would question his ability to repay. Now, the scale of the troops has expanded, and the snake scale is within reach. I'm truly a genius. The youth couldn't help but grin widely, greatly admiring himself. On the other side, Lin Yu's territory. Almost every half an hour, a group of goblins could be seen entering and leaving the territory. They were transporting monster corpses. At this point, a large number of monster corpses had already piled up in the territory, emitting a strong smell of blood. Near the piles of monster corpses, goblin warriors were constantly disassembling the corpses. Originally, their task was to patrol the surrounding area of the territory. But now, it seemed that the work of disassembling the monster corpses alone was enough to keep them busy for a long time. On another note, the number of goblin believers has increased. This is because while the angel squad is hunting in the wilderness, they are also constantly developing believers for Lin Yu and spreading the faith of the Lord of Holy Light. So far, the number of goblins in the territory has exceeded 100. This is a very astonishing number. Even those overlords who randomly obtained goblin troops couldn't have this many goblins under their command. What's more important is that other overlords have to spend money to recruit goblin troops. Lin Yu recruits goblins using faith. He didn't pay any cost, at most just providing food and shelter. And in terms of food, Lin Yu's territory is not lacking. The corpses of hundreds of wild monsters can be disassembled into thousands of units of meat, enough for the goblins to eat for a long time. Moreover, as the angel squad continues their hunting work, the territory will obtain more and more food. Therefore, the problem of food shortage simply doesn't exist. Not only that, Lin Yu also has surplus food on the trading platform, and the trades go very smoothly. 1 unit of meat can be exchanged for 1 unit of wood. 2 units of meat can be exchanged for 1 unit of stone. 3 units of meat can be exchanged for 1 unit of iron ore. Among these 4 basic resources, the value of food and wood is equivalent. Stone is slightly more expensive, and iron ore is the most expensive. After exchanging 850 units of meat, Lin Yu successfully obtained 300 units of wood, 200 units of stone, and 50 units of iron ore. This means that the conditions for building the warehouse have been met. Without hesitation, Lin Yu went to an empty space in the territory, took out the warehouse blueprint, and chose to use it. In an instant, the blueprint turned into a golden light and merged into the empty space. In just a few seconds, a warehouse appeared out of thin air in front of Lin Yu. Just as Lin Yu was marveling at the magical power of the floating island rules, the goblin warriors who were busy disassembling monster corpses not far away became noisy and exclaimed, "This is the miracle of the Lord." While shouting, they knelt down towards Lin Yu, their expressions becoming even more fanatical. Because Lin Yu is their god of faith. Warehouse. Level. Low level. Storage capacity. 100,000 units. Next level. Middle level warehouse. Upgrade requirements. 1,000 units of wood, 500 units of stone, 300 units of iron ore. With a storage capacity of 100,000 units, it should be enough for now. As Lin Yu spoke, he stored the meat, as well as monster materials such as hides, scales, and teeth, that the goblin warriors had decomposed into the warehouse. With the warehouse, food like meat could be preserved indefinitely. There was no need to worry about spoilage or deterioration. This effect was very practical and could solve Lin Yu's current problem. After counting, I now have over 2,600 units of meat. Setting aside the daily consumption of the goblins, the remaining meat can be exchanged for another batch of wood, stone, and iron ore. Units are the measurement unit on the floating island. Under the influence of the power of rules, food, wood, stone, and iron, or are all presented in the form of units. For example, if you get 10 pieces of meat when decomposing a monster's corpse, that would be 10 units, and each piece of meat is exactly the same. The same goes for felled wood and mined stone. There won't be different sizes of wood and stone. This seems somewhat illogical and beyond the scope of scientific explanation, but you have to know that this world is governed by transcendent power, where anything unreasonable is reasonable. Here, Lin Yu checked the information of his territory again. Territory. Level. Low-level village. Overlord. Lin Yu. Territory buildings. Hall of the Overlord. Wooden house. Warehouse. Spiritual field level. Level 1. Prosperity. 165. Next level. Middle level village. Upgrade conditions dash. Condition 1. Prosperity reaches 100. Completed. Condition 2. Possess buildings such as a warehouse, fence, and arrow tower. Condition 3. 1,000 units of wood, 1,000 units of stone, 1,000 units of iron ore. Unknowingly, I have completed the first condition for territory upgrade. Lin Yu's territory has a prosperity of 165, fully meeting the requirement of 100 points for territory upgrade. I just don't know. How is this prosperity calculated? Not understanding, Lin Yu chose to communicate with Myriad World's floating island. Soon, he received a response from the floating island. Territory prosperity is related to the territory's buildings, population, hidden public sentiment, economy, and other factors. Constructing buildings, increasing the population of the territory, maintaining the peace of the territory, and engaging in economic trade with external forces. All these methods can increase the territory's prosperity. Subsequently, the floating island provided Lin Yu with more intuitive information. The 141 goblins who joined the territory today directly increased the prosperity of his territory by 141 points, equivalent to each goblin contributing 1 point. Building the warehouse increased the prosperity by 20 points. In addition, Lin Yu had 4 angels under his command, totaling 165 points of prosperity. I didn't expect that sheltering those goblins would have such benefits. Lin Yu felt pleasantly surprised. Setting aside their low-level, weak strength, and voracious appetite, using goblins to increase the prosperity of the territory was still very good. After all, without enough prosperity, the territory cannot be upgraded. Lin Yu also thought of those overlords who randomly obtained low-level units. Low-level units still have their advantages. They have low recruitment costs, can quickly form an army, and can also solve the problem of territory prosperity. Of course, Lin Yu was not envious of this. His angels were constantly spreading faith and recruiting believers for him. The troops are not enough, so the believers are here to make up for it. Solving the problem of territory prosperity is just as easy. Moreover, when needed, the believers can also transform into troops and charge into battle. Lin Yu turned off the information template for the territory. The next thing to do is to continue accumulating resources and also find a way to obtain blueprints for fences and arrow towers to prepare for upgrading the territory. Thinking of this, Lin Yu opened the island trading platform. While listing the beast meat for trade, he exchanged it for wood, stone, and iron. At the same time, he paid attention to whether anyone was selling blueprints for fences and arrow towers. The drop rate for equipment and blueprints on the floating island was very low, so he had to consider getting the blueprints from the trading platform instead of relying solely on the Angel Squad's monster kills. Of course, it would be best if they could drop them. Evening came quickly. Lin Yu continued to list the beast meat without interruption. Not only did he exchange it for a large amount of wood, stone, and other basic resources, but the goblin's daily food consumption was also unaffected. This was all thanks to the Angel Squad. Throughout the afternoon, Lin Yu's angels did not return to the territory. They were hunting monsters in the wilderness, and the goblins transported the monster corpses back. Then they were handed over to the goblin warriors for decomposition. The decomposed beast meat was then listed on the trading platform by Lin Yu in exchange for resources for the territory. The entire workflow looked like an assembly line. It's almost done. Lin Yu glanced at the reserve of resources in the warehouse. Beast meat, 1,350 units. Wood, 1,080 units. Stone, 736 units. Iron ore, 597 units. This was the result of his afternoon's work. They had collected more than half of the resources needed for the territory upgrade. If nothing unexpected happened, they would be able to gather all the resources tonight because there were still many monster corpses in the territory that had not been decomposed. He had enough beast meat to exchange for the required resources. What disappointed Lin Yu was that he had waited all afternoon but did not find any professionals selling blueprints for fences, arrow towers, or even cabin blueprints. It could only mean that the drop rate for blueprints was too low. And it wasn't just blueprints, the drop rate for equipment was also very low. Throughout the day, there were no more than 100 pieces of equipment appearing on the trading platform, and as soon as they appeared, they were instantly bought by others. Those were all low-level equipment that couldn't be sold for a high price. Rich people would directly buy them when they saw them. From start to finish, only Lin Yu's snake scale couldn't be sold. The instant kill price of 3,000 gold coins. So far, no one could afford it. Someone on the professional forum had revealed that capturing the stronghold where intelligent creatures were stationed had a higher chance of dropping blueprints and equipment. Let's see how it goes tomorrow. If conditions permit, let Aida and the others go and conquer the wilderness strongholds. Lin Yu felt that the development of the territory seemed to be limited by the low drop rate of blueprints. He needed to find another way to quickly obtain the blueprints. Seeing that it was getting dark, Lin Yu contacted Aida and the others to have them return to the territory. The wilderness world shrouded in darkness was full of danger. If they were unlucky, they might encounter extremely powerful wilderness monsters and be wiped out in an instant. Lin Yu didn't want the Angel Squad to take risks. After all, hunting monsters for one night wouldn't make much of a difference. By tomorrow night, the Angel Squad would be ready to hunt in the wilderness. I wonder how many gold coins the Angel Squad has collected? With gold coins, he could summon more angels. This was also the moment Lin Yu was most looking forward to. 10 minutes later, the Angel Squad returned to their territory. Aida, Sally, Vina, and Josie, the 4 two-winged angels, flew in the air, gently flapping their snow-white angel wings. Their graceful figures emitted a holy radiance. As angels, they were perfect. No matter how critical one's gaze, no flaws could be found on them. At this moment, Lin Yu once again praised his own choice. Speed up. Josie, the angel flying behind, lightly commanded. Immediately, the goblin team below, lined up like a dragon, started running. They carried the corpses of wild monsters on their shoulders and rushed into Lin Yu's territory. Lord Overlord. The angel squad descended from the sky and respectfully saluted Lin Yu. When it came to those goblins, they were cold, arrogant, and sacred. But in front of Lin Yu, they only had reverence and fanaticism. Just as Aida said, Lin Yu was the Lord of Holy Light, the origin of holiness and light, and also their God of faith. In the face of faith, one must be in awe. Lin Yu nodded and looked at Aida and Sally in surprise, saying, "You've leveled up?" "Yes, Lord Overlord." Aida and Sally respectfully said, "Guided by your faith, we found the direction to move forward, broke through the limitations of our realm, and reached level 6. They were the angels Lin Yu summoned first. They spent the whole day hunting monsters in the wilderness. The number of monsters they purified was nearly 1,000. With the help of a huge experience reward, Primal Force, their levels successfully advanced to level 6. As for the angels Vina and Josie summoned later, their levels remained at level 5. But it is likely that they will also be able to advance to level 6 tomorrow. This is good news. Lin Yu was very happy. Angels were his exclusive troops in the territory. The stronger their strength, the faster the development of the territory. In addition, Lin Yu felt that his own level was about to break through. He was currently a level 1 professional, but he could feel that he was not far from advancing to level 2. In reality, the advancement of a professional's level was very difficult. Although there were no limitations in terms of realm, each level up required double the amount of primal force. In simpler terms, double the experience, requiring the killing of more monsters or enemies. Which professionals level up faster? Apex-level combat professionals. Combat professionals who rely on their own strength to kill monsters in the wilderness, enjoying all the experience alone, are fierce in killing monsters and naturally level up quickly. There are also overlords who possess Apex-level troops. Apex-level troops have strong combat power, and once their numbers increase, their killing speed is astonishing. Even if they take away most of the experience rewards, it is enough to make the overlord's level rise rapidly. Just like Lin Yu. Almost level 2 in one day. This speed is already quite astonishing. If this news were to spread, it would surely shock and panic the professionals on the island. Lin Yu said to Aida and the others, "Your squad's combat power is not strong enough, and the nighttime wilderness is full of danger, so I had to call you back. When the squad expands tomorrow or the day after, you can hunt at night. Our Lord is merciful." Aida and the others were deeply moved. The Lord of Holy Light always considered their safety, which naturally touched them. Then, Aida took a step forward, respectfully handed over the spoils to Lin Yu, and said, "My lord, these are the gains from this afternoon's hunt." There were 2 types of spoils. A pile of gold coins. 1 piece of equipment, a long sword emitting a metallic luster. The appearance of the long sword was a small surprise for Lin Yu. Because he was annoyed by the frequent appearance of the "monster killed" prompt in his mind, he turned off the prompt. Therefore, this could be considered an unexpected joy. He didn't expect the angel squad to drop a second piece of equipment. After thinking for a moment, Lin Yu used his mind to open the Myriad Worlds floating island and reactivated the monster kill prompt, blocking out the normal prompts and only broadcasting information about special loot such as blueprints and equipment. Myriad Worlds floating island was quite intelligent and immediately agreed. Only then did Lin Yu shift his gaze to the long sword. Fine steel sword. Type: attack equipment. Attack level: level 5. Durability: 100. Special effect: none. Introduction: this is a long sword made of refined iron. It's quite sharp. A level 5 weapon with no special effects. And from the description, it's just an ordinary equipment. It's far inferior to the snake scale armor. Lin Yu swung the fine steel sword in his hand. The sword's edge tore through the air, producing a sharp whistling sound. A smile appeared on Lin Yu's face. Even though the fine steel sword was ordinary, it was still a level 5 equipment. It was much better than the initial equipment given to combat professionals by the floating island. The beginner equipment for combat professionals was level 1, while the fine steel sword was level 5. The difference in level alone was enough to crush the opponents. For knights and swordsmen, Hunting low-level monsters in the wilderness will be as easy as cutting vegetables, one sword at a time. Unfortunately, it's useless for me. It's better to exchange it for blueprints. Lin Yu immediately opened the island trading platform and put up the fine steel sword for trade. Newbie divine weapon, fine steel sword. Click to view detailed information. Trading conditions, exchange for blueprints and special items, private trade, serious inquiries only. Trading time, within 24 hours. Equipment owner, Lin Yu. After putting up the fine steel sword for trade, Lin Yu no longer paid attention to it. He turned his head and looked at the pile of gold coins. Item, gold coins. Quantity, 167. A great harvest. Lin Yu grinned, feeling very happy. With over 160 gold coins, he could summon 3 two-winged angels, nearly doubling the size of his angel squad. Looking at the pile of gold coins shining in the darkness, Lin Yu even considered letting the angel squad go out at night to continue hunting after summoning them. But after thinking about it, he ultimately gave up. Even if he added 3 more two-winged angels, he couldn't be careless. If they encountered a level 9 monster or even a king-level monster in the wilderness, the angel squad would definitely be unable to withstand it. After all, the highest level among them was only level 6. Especially at night, there were more high-level wild monsters. Summon the angels first. Lin Yu walked straight towards the hall of the Overlord. Aida and the others followed closely behind, like Lin Yu's personal beautiful bodyguards. On the other hand, with the listing of the newbie divine weapon, fine steel sword, the chat channel on the island also stirred up waves once again. Island chat channel dash. Quick, check the trading platform. Lin Yu, the owner of Snake Scale, has made another move. This time, he has put up a level 5 weapon. Another piece of equipment? How is Lin Yu so lucky? A steel sword, no special effects, just an ordinary piece of equipment, far inferior to Snake Scale. Even if it's ordinary, it's still a level 5 equipment. I really want to get this steel sword, but unfortunately, I don't have the blueprint or any special items to trade. Special items? I have some. Just collected a bottle of bear urine. Keep it for yourself upstairs. Speaking of which, this should be the highest level equipment among today's listings, apart from Snake Scale, right? Most of the equipment listed today are level 1 to 3, with only one piece being level 4, and there really isn't any equipment that reaches level 5. To obtain a level 5 equipment, the level of the monsters killed must be at least level 5. At this stage, only Apex level overlords can achieve this. Apex level units have naturally strong combat power, and their initial level is level 4. As long as they don't encounter groups of level 5 wild monsters, they still have a good chance of winning. As for other overlords or combat professionals, when they encounter level 5 monsters in the wilderness, they can only detour and don't have the ability to fight. So you mean, is Lin Yu really an Apex level overlord? Not necessarily, it's also possible that he found this equipment. After identification, the idiot upstairs just picked up a piece of snake scale and now a steel sword. Is Lin Yu the man favored by the goddess of luck? Clearly, the leader of Hall of Kings made a wrong guess. Lin Yu didn't just have dumb luck, he is a genuine Apex level overlord. Apex level overlord? Could it be that Snake Scale was also dropped by him? That's impossible. Snake Scale is a level 7 special equipment, usually only dropped by level 7 boss monsters. Even if Lin Yu is an Apex level overlord, he can't defeat a level 7 boss. A level 7 boss is a nightmare for any professional on the island. I wonder what Lin Yu's unit is. Compared to the leader of Hall of Kings Golden Behemoth, whose unit has stronger combat power, that's definitely our leader's Golden Behemoth. The Golden Behemoth is known as the king of land battles. On the ground, even the Dragon Race unit is no match for the Golden Behemoth. Agreed. While the island chat channel was buzzing with discussions, a young man in the grassland area also received messages from Alliance members. He glanced at the lively chat channel, and his expression turned somewhat unpleasant. For him, the fewer Apex-level overlords on the island, the higher his prestige would be, and the easier it would be for him to develop the Hall of Kings. Now, a new apex-level overlord appeared, snatching the prestige that belonged to him. Naturally, he was not in a good mood. This Lin guy, no wonder he has the courage to ignore me and even block me. Turns out he's also an apex-level overlord. He admitted that he underestimated Lin Yu, but it didn't affect his confidence. So what if he's an apex-level overlord? There are differences in strength among apex-level units. My Golden Behemoth is comparable to the Dragon Race unit, with extremely strong combat power. It can hold its own against any apex-level unit. Moreover, I have the strongest alliance on the island. Thinking of this, the young man's expression gradually eased. He then shifted his gaze to the steel sword hanging on the trading platform. He sneered and said, "What's a level 5 equipment? My Golden Behemoth squad has already started hunting level 5 monsters, so it's only a matter of time before we obtain level 5 equipment." Just at that moment, his Golden Behemoth squad returned to their territory, ready to rest. However, he forcefully gave the order for the Golden Behemoths to continue hunting, vowing to obtain a level 5 equipment tonight to restore his prestige as an apex-level overlord. It could be seen that although he appeared disdainful, he was actually quite stimulated. In a mountain range on the floating island, in a cave, more than a dozen combat professionals gathered. Floating Island has an unwritten rule, which is that combat professionals are more or less teleported together to form teams and hunt on the island, thereby increasing their chances of survival. The team in the cave consists of combat professionals. Among them, there are knights, swordsmen, shield-armored warriors, as well as elementalists, hunters, and priests. Before arriving on Floating Island, they were all strangers to each other. But now, they are forced to live and die together. Captain, a young boy holding a magic wand turned his gaze to a middle-aged man excitedly and said, "There's a level 5 attack equipment on the trading platform, a sword weapon that suits you perfectly." The other professionals in the cave also looked at the middle-aged man. There was envy and anticipation among them. The middle-aged man quickly opened the trading platform and also showed a look of excitement. His profession is a knight. Before obtaining a mount, a sword weapon is the best choice. However, he shook his head and said, "Indeed, it's a good item, but only blueprints and special items can be exchanged for this fine steel sword." The young boy said, "Captain, didn't we just find a blueprint during our hunt this afternoon? It's perfect for exchanging for the fine steel sword." As soon as these words were spoken, the other professionals in the cave became dissatisfied. Because the blueprint belongs to the entire team, not someone's private possession. How can this be? The middle-aged man frowned. The blueprint is the team's shared property. I was planning to put it up on the trading platform for auction and distribute the gold coins to everyone. With these words, the dissatisfaction in everyone's hearts instantly dissipated. They also became more appreciative of the middle-aged man. As a captain, one needs to be fair, just, and responsible in order to gain the trust of the team members. The young boy persuaded, "Captain, this doesn't conflict. When we no longer need the fine steel sword, we can also auction it for gold coins. And if the captain has the fine steel sword now, he can lead our team to level up quickly." Compared to leveling up, gold coins are not important at all. As soon as the level up was mentioned, the other professionals quickly spoke up, persuading the middle-aged man to take the fine steel sword. Having a level 5 equipment in the team would greatly increase their efficiency in killing monsters. This would also benefit them. But the middle-aged man did not immediately agree and said, "The blueprint we have is more valuable than the fine steel sword. Exchanging it would be a loss. In the future, when those overlord professionals become wealthy, this blueprint can be sold at a higher price, and it's not impossible to exchange it for 10 fine steel swords. The drop rate of blueprints is lower than that of equipment. Even the most common fence blueprint would be more than enough to exchange for a fine steel sword. And what they have in their hands is a blacksmith shop blueprint, which is worth much more than a fence blueprint. It would definitely be a loss to exchange it for a fine steel sword. As long as they hold on for a while longer, this blacksmith shop blueprint would definitely make them rich overnight. Those overlord professionals wouldn't mind paying a huge price to buy the blacksmith shop blueprint. Although that's true. But Captain, time is running out. The young boy said, keeping the blueprint in our hands won't help us level up. But the fine steel sword is different. With it, our levels will skyrocket. With increased strength, we can drop more blueprints. The middle-aged man frowned, because the young boy's words made sense. The other professionals in the team had no reason to oppose either. They were all hoping for a massive increase in levels. Taking advantage of the situation, the young boy said, Captain, don't hesitate anymore. This blueprint is worthless to us, far less practical than a level 5 attack equipment. All right. The middle-aged man nodded. After following the opinions of the other team members and gaining unanimous agreement, he opened the Friends section. He sent a friend request to Lin Yu and attached the information of the blacksmith shop blueprint in the message. All right, now we wait for Lin Yu's reply. Upon hearing this, the team members also eagerly awaited. Hall of the Overlord. A black hole slowly appears. Aida and the other three are eagerly watching this miracle. On the other hand, Lin Yu remains calm. Summoning angels multiple times today has made him accustomed to this scene. Spending 150 gold coins to summon 3 two-winged angels. After this wave of summoning, Lin Yu only has about 20 gold coins left, not enough to summon the 4th two-winged angel. In reality, Lin Yu would prefer to summon a 4-winged angel. Compared to the 2-winged angel, the 4-winged angel has a higher position. Their initial level and growth potential are bound to surpass that of the 2-winged angel. But the problem is, summoning a 4-winged angel requires a total of 200 gold coins, which he doesn't have. And to summon a 4-winged angel, there is also a prerequisite. That is to upgrade the territory to a middle-level village. For now, Lin Yu can only settle for continuing to summon 2-winged angels. Not long after, 3 flawless and beautiful figures fly out of the black hole. They emit an extremely holy light. Judging from their appearance, they are also female angels. With beautiful faces, fair skin, and tall and well-proportioned figures, they resemble goddesses of light walking in the world. As 2-winged angels, they, like Aida and the others, wear silver-white armor, hold angelic weapons, and have a pair of snow-white angel wings on their backs. There is no difference in their information templates. Starting at level 5, with a growth potential limit of demigod. Greetings, Overlord. Approaching, the 3 beautiful 2-winged angels bow respectfully to Lin Yu. In their golden pupils, there is a hint of fanaticism, stemming from their devotion to faith and reverence for the Lord of Holy Light. Lin Yu nods with a smile. He then names the 3 new 2-winged angels Helen, Ada, and Phyllis. Praise you, great Overlord. We pledge our loyalty to you. May the holy light be eternal. The 3 two-winged angels bow again, their expressions filled with excitement. The bestowed names are their honor. This will accompany them throughout their lives. Lin Yu says to Helen and the others, with your addition to the angel squad, our combat power will surely soar. Also, I hope you will work hard yourselves. Although you have the potential to become demigods, I look forward to seeing the scene of you becoming gods in the future. We will not disappoint you, Overlord. Helen and the others say in unison, their expressions resolute. This is the expectation of the Lord of Holy Light for them. They will do whatever it takes to achieve it, even if it means sacrificing their lives. That's good. Lin Yu nods. He then orders the angels to rest. When the first ray of dawn shines on the earth tomorrow morning, they will embark on a new day of hunting. The night comes quickly. In an instant, it envelopes the entire world. The floating island is located in an unknown place, whether it is deep space or a dimensional space. The only thing that can be confirmed is that there is no moon or starlight in the night. It becomes pitch black when stepping into the wilderness. And with the arrival of night, the number of monsters in the wilderness suddenly surges, including high-level ones. During the day, it is the professionals hunting monsters. At night, the roles are reversed. Any professional who dares to stay in the dark will undoubtedly be torn to pieces by monsters. Listening to the intense roars coming from outside the territory, Lin Yu can't help but feel a tingling sensation on his scalp and be grateful that he called the Angel Squad back. Sending the Angel Squad to hunt in this environment would be sending them to their deaths. Fortunately, the territory has a beginner protection period. Before reaching the town level, the territory will not be actively attacked by monsters in the wilderness. Lin Yu has reason to believe that without this special care, there would be no overlord's territory on the island that could safely pass the first night. Not even his own territory. The wilderness at night is even more dangerous than I imagined. Before understanding the specific situation, we must not let the Angel Squad go out recklessly. In addition, I need to quickly upgrade the territory to a middle-level village and unlock the summoning of the Four-Winged Angel. With the Four-Winged Angel leading the team, the Angel Squad will likely be able to hunt at night. While contemplating, Lin Yu walked out of the Hall of the Overlord. He then ordered over 100 goblins in the territory to speed up the decomposition of monster corpses. He wanted to exchange the decomposed meat for various basic resources to prepare for upgrading the territory. Afterwards, Lin Yu summoned a goblin warrior and inquired about the level of danger in the nighttime wilderness, but he did not receive a satisfactory answer. The goblin warrior only replied with one sentence to Lin Yu. The weak goblins dare not go out at night. Whenever night falls, the goblins will huddle in their stronghold, tribe. Respected overlord, the nighttime wilderness is a world of demons and undead. Once we encounter them, we goblins will also become their food. Demons and undead? Yes, respected overlord. The goblin warrior trembled as he said, I have not seen demons, but I have seen undead. Once night falls, the wilderness will be filled with endless undead. They crawl out from the underworld and are everywhere. My father, the mighty goblin warrior Coke, died at the hands of evil undead. This seems to be good news. Lin Yu muttered to himself. Of course, the good news referred to the undead that appear at night. His angels are sacred beings, wielding the power of holy light, and have an inherent ability to restrain creatures from the undead faction. This means that once they have the strength to hunt at night, the Angel Squad will surely have a bountiful harvest. You may leave. Lin Yu waved his hand, letting the still frightened goblin warrior retreat. He no longer dwelled on it and waited for the decomposition work to finish while opening the island trading platform. To his surprise, there were actually blueprints being sold on the trading platform. And it was the fence blueprint that he urgently needed. But it was infuriating, as the price for the fence blueprint was a whopping 1,000 gold coins, which he simply couldn't afford. Even if he could afford it, he wouldn't buy it. Exchanging 20 slots for two-winged angel summoning for a fence blueprint, unless he was an idiot. What a despicable and greedy merchant. Lin Yu grumbled in frustration. He seemed to have forgotten that his snake scale, which had a starting bid of 3,000 gold coins, was still hanging at the top of the trading platform. But then again, the value of the fence blueprint itself couldn't be compared to the snake scale. After all, the snake scale was a level 7 equipment with special effects. With no gold coins, Lin Yu could only reluctantly shift his gaze away from the trading information of the fence blueprint and continue searching the trading platform until he exited with disappointment. Let's see if there's any harvest in the friends list. Lin Yu could only hope that someone would be interested in this steel sword and would trade with blueprints. He opened the friends list, and the number of friend requests exceeding 99.99 plus caught his attention. Lin Yu didn't want to check them one by one, so he searched for keywords like fence, arrow tower, blueprint, and the like in the friend request list. Suddenly, the number of friend requests was reduced to just over 50. One by one, he looked through them. The majority of them were fake, with no evidence. Only one friend request included a message with a blueprint. A blacksmith shop blueprint? Lin Yu's eyes widened instantly, his gaze filled with excitement. Who is this kind-hearted person? He didn't hesitate and immediately accepted the friend request. As for the other requests, he rejected them all. Inside the cave, a suppressed cheer suddenly rang out. Lin Yu added me as a friend. The middle-aged man's face lit up with joy. Under the expectant gazes of his team members, he quickly contacted Lin Yu. "Boss, it's not easy for you to add me as a friend. I've been waiting for so long. I won't beat around the bush. I want to trade the blacksmith shop blueprint with you for the snake scale on the platform." When sending the message, he changed his mind. He wanted something far more valuable than the fine steel sword, just because snake scales are much better than steel swords. Even a level 1 professional, as long as they wear snake scales, can rampage through the low-level monster areas without worrying about accidents. And if they are hunting snake-like monsters, they can sweep through all directions. Lin Yu hopes to exchange blueprints for a steel sword, which would prove that he is an overlord. For an overlord professional, the value of blacksmith blueprints is self-evident. Perhaps it is really possible. Lin Yu is willing to exchange snake scales with me. The middle-aged man stared at the chat box, hoping that Lin Yu would give him a surprise. However, Lin Yu's reply disappointed him greatly. "Lin Yu, I won't exchange snake scales, only steel swords." The middle-aged man felt unwilling. "Boss, you should understand the value of blacksmith blueprints. With a blacksmith, you can create equipment in your territory and become an equipment merchant. The drop rate of equipment on the island is so low, you can easily get rich overnight with the help of a blacksmith without worrying about territory resources." Lin Yu, you make a valid point, but it's difficult to achieve in the near future. Crafting equipment requires a blacksmith, which is a problem. In the meantime, blacksmith blueprints have no value. Middle-aged man, "Boss, you should have a long-term vision." Lin Yu, having foresight is good, but the most important thing at this stage is development. I can completely wait for the second blacksmith blueprint to appear during the time I'm looking for a blacksmith. There's no need to directly exchange snake scales with you. For now, the value of snake scales is higher than blacksmith blueprints. Upon seeing this message, the middle-aged man fell silent. Because what Lin Yu said was true. Middle-aged man, "Boss, won't you reconsider?" Lin Yu, when I find a blacksmith, if your blueprints haven't been sold yet, I think we can trade again. The middle-aged man felt helpless. Who knows when Lin Yu will find a blacksmith? 1 day, 2 days, or a week? Lin Yu can afford to wait, but he can't. He is eager to improve his own level now. The longer he holds onto the blacksmith blueprints, the longer his level will be suppressed. And with high-level equipment, he can quickly widen the gap between him and other professionals. As they say, the faster the first step, the faster the subsequent steps. Compared to becoming a top combat professional, what does a blueprint matter? The most important thing is, with a higher level, the rewards from hunting will also increase exponentially. This is the snowball effect. The earlier it starts rolling, the bigger the snowball will be. However, the middle-aged man still wanted to struggle a bit. He left Lin Yu hanging for over an hour. But once again, he was disappointed. Lin Yu didn't respond to him at all, nor did he show any intention of compromising. "Captain, what Lin Yu said is right. At this stage, blacksmith blueprints really can't compare to snake scales. After all, blacksmiths are too hard to find. Only in those strongholds occupied by local intelligent creatures can you find blacksmiths, but at this stage, which overlord can capture a stronghold? And even if they do capture one, it's very difficult to subdue the intelligent creatures. In the short term, no matter which overlord obtains blacksmith blueprints, they can only put them aside. Even if Lin Yu is an apex-level overlord. Yes, Captain, there's no need to be fixated on snake scales. With a steel sword in your hand, our team can still sweep through those low-level monsters." In the cave, the team members kept persuading. They were even more anxious than the middle-aged man. "Well, we can only do this." The middle-aged man reluctantly gave in and contacted Lin Yu again, saying he wanted to exchange for a steel sword. This time, Lin Yu didn't refuse. After receiving the message, the middle-aged man entered the trading platform, found the steel sword listed by Lin Yu, and submitted the blacksmith blueprints, requesting the trade. Soon, the trade was completed. A long sword emitting a metallic luster appeared in front of the middle-aged man out of thin air. The middle-aged man held the sword and swung it forcefully. Instantly, the air was cut, emitting a sharp whistling sound. "Great sword. The middle-aged man was overjoyed, dispelling the frustration from his previous loss. The other team members were also excited. With this steel sword, they could enjoy the feeling of rapidly leveling up. Tomorrow's goal: everyone advances one level. The team is mighty. Hall of the Overlord. Lin Yu looked at the blacksmith blueprint in his hand, unable to resist the smile on his face. Exchanging a level 5 ordinary equipment for the blacksmith blueprint was a huge profit for him. At present, if it were to be exchanged in 2 or 3 weeks, when the Overlord's strength has increased and they have relatively abundant resources, this blacksmith blueprint could definitely be sold at a sky-high price, because it allows Overlords to have the ability to forge their own equipment. The drop rate of equipment on the floating island is very low. Just look at the trading platform. As the saying goes, rarity makes things valuable. If Lin Yu can produce his own equipment, he can definitely become rich overnight. Under Lin Yu's gaze, the information about the blacksmith blueprint also appeared. Territory building blueprint. Type: blacksmith. Usable times: 1. Construction requirements: 200 units of wood, 100 units of stone, 300 units of iron ore. Special reminder: the blacksmith is one of the most important buildings in the territory. With it, the territory can become more prosperous and powerful. However, without a blacksmith, the blacksmith's workshop cannot forge equipment. All exclusive units in the territories are combat units. There won't be any civilian professions. So, if you want to get a blacksmith, you can only find a way among the native intelligent beings on the floating island. And among many intelligent races, there are dedicated blacksmiths, such as the famous dwarf blacksmiths, elf blacksmiths. In addition, there are goblin blacksmiths, human blacksmiths, and so on. Lin Yu saw this information on the professional forum, which was disclosed by the first group of professionals who arrived on the floating island. It is highly valuable for reference. According to the disclosure, it is not easy to subdue the native intelligent beings, because the native intelligent beings see us professionals from Blue Star as evil invaders. Meeting means life or death, and it is difficult to gain their loyalty. However, it shouldn't be difficult for me, because I have an angel. In just one day, Aida and the others have recruited more than 100 goblin followers for Lin Yu. All those goblins are native intelligent beings on the floating island. They were easily purified and believed in the holy light. In other words, if Lin Yu wants to get a native blacksmith, it will be easy. Just capture them and hand them over to Aida and the others to deal with. I can first ask those goblins for information. Leaving the Hall of the Overlord, Lin Yu saw that bonfires had been set up not far away on the open ground. There were many goblins around each bonfire. The work of dissecting monster corpses had already been completed. The meat and monster materials collected by the goblins had been stored in the warehouse. Lin Yu planned to exchange some of the meat for basic resources later, while reserving the monster materials to be used for crafting equipment in the future. At this moment, some goblins were using the bonfires to roast meat, while others were devoutly watching this scene. The meat was blessed by the Lord of Holy Light. They needed to be grateful. At the same time, Lin Yu sensed more mysterious energy pouring into his body. This is the power of faith from the goblins. It is useless now, but accumulating over time, it can help him ascend to godhood smoothly in the future. Lin Yu waved and called over a goblin warrior. "What is your name?" "Great God, my name is Lin." Goblin Lin has reached level 3, but his body is still weak and small. When facing Lin Yu, he trembles and dare not raise his head. The gaze of the God of Faith is not to be looked at directly. This is engraved in Lin's heart, as well as in the hearts of all goblin followers. Lin Yu asked in a gentle tone, "Lin, is there a goblin blacksmith in your settlement or tribe?" Yes, my Lord Overlord." Goblin Lin quickly nodded and extended 3 slender fingers. "Our tribe has a total of 3 blacksmiths. One of them is a middle-level blacksmith." "Very good, Lin." A smile appeared on Lin Yu's face again as he said, "Tell me, how is the overall strength of your tribe and where is it located?" In the face of Lin Yu's inquiry, the goblin, Lin, dared not hide anything. He revealed all the information about his tribe without reservation. After listening, Lin Yu couldn't help but frown. The goblin tribe is located about 4 kilometers west of my territory. There are more than 700 goblins in total. Among them, there are about 100 goblin warriors and over 300 goblin fighters. In addition, there is a goblin chieftain at level 9. The rest of the goblins are all ordinary goblins. This is a very powerful force. At least at this stage, no overlord can conquer this goblin tribe. Lin Yu also admitted that he didn't have the strength to do so. He currently only had 7 two-winged angels, with the highest level being 6. Even if he added over 100 goblin followers, he still couldn't break through the goblin tribe. No rush. Let the angel squad slowly nibble away at the goblin tribe. When my territory upgrades to a middle-level village and summons the 4-winged angel, we can launch an attack on the goblin tribe. The so-called nibbling refers to continuously capturing the goblins from that tribe and converting them into his followers. With this give and take, Lin Yu's territory would become stronger and stronger, while the strength of the goblin tribe would weaken. When the time is right, he will declare war directly. Lin, you've done well. The holy light will protect you until eternity. Lin Yu looked at the extremely excited goblin, Lin, and smiled. You can go now and let your companions rest early. Praise be to you, merciful God. Lin quickly retreated. When he went back, he held his head high and had a proud expression on his face. It was all because the great Lord of Holy Light praised him, a glory that other goblins did not have. Lin Yu glanced at the goblins gathered in circles in the distance. Due to the lack of wooden houses in the territory, and all of them being allocated to the angel squad, these goblins had to camp in the open. Fortunately, the weather on the floating island was not cold. Coupled with the bonfires to ward off dampness and cold, the goblins wouldn't freeze to death. Lin Yu no longer paid attention to them and turned to open the island trading platform, hanging up all the meat the goblins had obtained. All this meat would be used to exchange for wood, stone, and iron ore, the 3 basic resources. He wanted to exchange for gold coins, but no professional would be so foolish. Gold coins were much more valuable than basic resources. Soon, except for the reserved daily food, all the meat was put up for sale on the trading platform by Lin Yu. If nothing unexpected happened, all this meat would be sold out by tomorrow. This was because there were a large number of professionals on the island. The number was at least in the tens of millions. Moreover, not every area where professionals appeared had abundant food resources. Many professionals appeared in food-scarce areas such as deserts and wastelands. Without food, they could only buy from the trading platform. In addition, the meat sold by Lin Yu was of high level and full of magic power, so it was highly sought after by professionals, resulting in a fast sales speed. After doing all this, Lin Yu returned to the Hall of the Overlord. The Hall of the Overlord was a 2-story building. The second floor was the bedroom of the Overlord. The bedroom was very simple, with only a bed, 2 bedside tables, and an oil lamp, nothing else. Lin Yu didn't mind. Compared to those combat professionals who slept in the wilderness, this treatment was already very good. It was no wonder everyone wanted to become an overlord. Undressing and lying on the bed, Lin Yu opened the island chat channel. At night, the chat channel was even more lively than during the day, because everyone had nothing to do. I can't imagine that on my first night on the floating island, I would be hiding in a tree hole. Envious of those with tree holes. +1. Help. Someone save me. I'm being chased by a group of wild monsters right now. It's pitch black around me, and I can't see anything. I can only run forward with my head down. Brother upstairs, you must hold on. Hold on to what? Hurry up and save me. Focus on escaping. No one can save you at this time. Another day of envy for Overlord professionals. I heard that in the early stages, the Overlord's territory not only won't be attacked by wild monsters, but there is also a bedroom in the Hall of the Overlord specifically for the Overlord to rest. Don't just listen to rumors, this is a fact. As the territory upgrades, the Overlord's bedroom will become more and more luxurious and extravagant. When it reaches the level of a city, it will directly become the Lord's mansion. and it won't be a problem to have 3 palaces and 6 courtyards. People often say that overlord professionals are the favored sons of the floating island. I didn't believe it before, but now I completely believe it. They are indeed favored sons. Only us combat professionals are all stepchildren. We can only say that this is fate. What is there to envy? Overlord professionals can only enjoy themselves in the early stages. Once their territory upgrades to a small town, the hard times will come. And why is that? Because when the territory reaches the level of a small town, it will no longer be protected by the floating island. At that time, wild monsters will gather and actively attack the overlord's small town. This kind of war is called the beast tide. And not only wild monsters, but also the native intelligent creatures in the strongholds will continue to launch attacks on the overlord's territory. The war is long-lasting and relentless. If you are not careful, those overlords will be torn to pieces along with their territory. Terrifying. I suddenly like my swordsman profession a bit. Lin Yu scrolled through the chat messages and unknowingly fell asleep. When he drowsily opened his eyes, it was already the next morning. He was covered with soft bedding, and there was breakfast on the bedside table. The breakfast was quite rich, with fresh fruits, grilled meat, and honey water. Without any surprises, this was prepared by the angels for him. After washing up, Lin Yu ate breakfast while thinking about the matter of the territory encountering the beast tide and being attacked by the legion of native intelligent creatures after upgrading to a small town. He had to be prepared in advance. At that time, there must be a powerful army in his territory to prevent any accidents. What that professional said is correct. Becoming an overlord does not mean you can live in peace and luxury. The enemies and dangers that overlords face are actually more than combat professionals. However, danger and opportunity coexist. If you can withstand it, the rewards will be great. He walked out of the hall of the overlord. Outside, the sun was shining brightly, indicating that it was a good day for hunting. On the square not far away, there were more than 20 goblin warriors gathered. The lowest level was level 3, and some goblin warriors had even reached level 4. When they saw Lin Yu, the goblin warriors immediately rushed over and knelt in front of Lin Yu, shouting in reverence, "Greetings, great overlord." "Where are the others?" Lin Yu asked. A goblin warrior stepped forward. It was Lin from last night, and he said to Lin Yu, "Reporting to the Lord, a few saints have taken my tribesmen out for hunting." "Okay." Lin Yu nodded slightly. Looking at the goblin Lin kneeling in front of him, he suddenly had a good idea. "Lin, I have a task for you. Please give your orders, my lord." The goblin Lin showed excitement. Lin Yu said, "You take a team of goblin warriors back to your tribe and spread my faith." The goblin Lin immediately panicked and said, "Oh great God, spreading your faith in the tribe will only bring disaster upon us. We are not afraid of death, but we are worried that we won't be able to complete your mission." Lin Yu said, "I didn't ask you to spread it. You just need to find a way to bring the goblins out of the tribe and leave the rest to Aida and the others to handle. Spreading faith is not something goblins are capable of. In this regard, angels are the professionals." "I understand, my lord." The goblin Lin breathed a sigh of relief. For him, this task was quite simple. Without hesitation, he immediately took a few goblin warriors and left the territory. Watching their figures, Lin Yu couldn't help but mutter to himself, "Combining internal and external forces will undoubtedly accelerate the disintegration of the goblin tribe and prepare for the upcoming tribal war. Let's see how many basic resources have been stockpiled." Lin Yu opened the warehouse information of the territory to check. Warehouse. Level. Low level. Reservable resources. 100,000 units. Reserved resources. 7,903 units of food, 2,650 units of wood, 1,900 units of stone, 1,470 units of iron ore, and some monster materials. Next level, middle level warehouse. Upgrade requirements: 1,000 units of wood, 500 units of stone, 300 units of iron ore. Lin Yu glanced at the beast meat listed on the island trading platform. As he expected, it was all sold out. The wood, stone, and iron ore, the three basic resources, were stored in the territory's warehouse. Now, the reserved basic resources are enough for the territory's upgrade. The prosperity level of the territory has also reached the requirement. Only the fence and arrow tower are missing. As long as I obtain the blueprints for these two buildings and construct the fence and arrow tower, I can upgrade the territory to a middle-level village. Lin Yu couldn't help but feel anxious. Because when the territory reaches the level of a middle-level village, the summoning of the four-winged angel will be unlocked. He has been looking forward to the four-winged angel for a long time. Then, Lin Yu opened the island trading platform again and searched for the blueprints for the fence and arrow tower. Soon, he found over 20 trade listings. Among them, 2/3 were trade listings for the fence blueprint, and 1/3 were trade listings for the arrow tower blueprint. It's only been one night, and someone has already obtained the blueprints. This was within Lin Yu's expectations, because there are a large number of professionals on the island. After yesterday's transition period, the professionals have also started hunting in full swing, with a large number of wild monsters being killed by them at all times. The drop rate of blueprints and equipment on the floating island is indeed very low, but quantity makes up for it. With millions of professionals crazily killing wild monsters, it is normal for a dozen or 20 blueprints to drop, just like winning the lottery. With so many people buying, someone will eventually hit the jackpot. The highest selling price for the fence blueprint is 700 gold coins, and the lowest is 500 gold coins. The price of the arrow tower blueprint is even higher, with the most expensive one reaching 1,300 gold coins. They're really obsessed with money. Unless it's an overlord who obtained these blueprints, they would have already used them themselves. There's no way they would put them up for sale. At this stage, I'm afraid no overlord can afford these blueprints. Or perhaps, the professionals selling these blueprints never thought they could sell them right now. Scarcity makes things valuable. They don't have to worry about the price of these blueprints dropping. At least for the next half month, the prices of these basic blueprints won't go down because every overlord needs to build fences and arrow towers. Lin Yu shook his head. Anyway, he can't afford these blueprints right now. Even if he had enough gold coins, he would only use them to summon angels and not waste them on buying blueprints. Then, Lin Yu searched for trade listings about spirit rice, demon plants, and magic medicine seeds. Among them, there were no trade listings for demon plants and magic medicine seeds. But there were quite a few trade listings for spirit rice seeds. Unfortunately, they were still expensive, and they also needed to be purchased with gold coins. It seems that I have to do it myself to have enough food and clothing. Lin Yu closed the island trading platform and muttered to himself, the battle professionals on the island all want to take advantage of blueprints and spirit rice to squeeze overlords and drink their blood. He could fully understand the pursuit of self-interest, but it doesn't mean he would feel balanced about it. No rush, this is only temporary. Lin Yu still had a secret weapon, which was the blacksmith shop blueprint. When he finds a blacksmith and starts crafting weapons and equipment, it will be his turn to take advantage of those battle professionals. Because the thing battle professionals need the most is weapons and equipment. At that time, Lin Yu, who has the ability to produce his own equipment, can completely collect the gold coins and items like blueprints from those battle professionals by selling equipment. Being an equipment merchant is one of the most profitable professions on the floating island. Suddenly, Lin Yu's gaze shifted towards a group of goblin warriors gathered not far away. In fact, these goblin warriors were all fully armed. They were all wearing leather armor and wielding weapons such as large knives and spears. However, due to the rules of the floating island, professionals were unable to use these weapon equipment. To obtain them, they could only kill these goblin warriors. If they were lucky, they could obtain equipment and use them. But obviously, Lin Yu would not do such a desperate thing. If they couldn't obtain equipment, these fanatical believers would die in vain, and a little experience wouldn't be worth much. Now, what I need to do is wait. Waiting for the angel squad to have a bountiful harvest, waiting for their strength to skyrocket, waiting to deal with the goblin tribe. By then, my good days will come. Just at this moment, Lin Yu suddenly felt a surge of immense energy within his body. Under the transformation of this energy, his physical fitness rapidly improved. After a moment, he discovered that there seemed to be a barrier within his body that had been broken through. That was the barrier of realms. I've leveled up. Lin Yu clenched his fists, full of strength, confident that one punch could kill a cow. As I expected, I broke through to become a second-level professional early on. When the Angel Squad returned to their territory last night, his level was already close to the second level. Early this morning, including Aida and Vina, the 7 angels went out to hunt. With the increased size of the Angel Squad, their efficiency in killing monsters in the wilderness was higher, making it easy for him to advance to the second level. 24 hours in a day. From level 0 to a second-level professional, this leveling speed shouldn't be considered slow. Lin Yu had reason to believe that his leveling speed could easily rank among the top professionals on the island. Although he didn't arrogantly think he was the #1 on the island, there shouldn't be many who could level up faster than him. And it must be due to some special circumstances. After all, his angel was a super apex level unit. With extremely strong combat power, they were fierce in hunting monsters. Just as Lin Yu reached the second level, the golden behemoth overlord in a certain large grassland was also looking forward to advancing to the second level. However, the young man's face looked somewhat distorted. There was anger and heartache. The reason was simple. In order to imitate Lin Yu and show off his apex level overlord status by obtaining level 5 equipment, he had sent all the golden behemoths in his territory out last night. As a result, not only did he fail to achieve his goal, half of the 14 golden behemoths under his command died shortly after leaving the territory. It was a huge loss. Until now, his heart was still bleeding. However, he also proved with facts that the knights on the floating island were indeed very dangerous, whether it was the jungle or the vast grasslands. I only have 500 gold coins left. The young man looked at his wallet with sadness. Yesterday, he formed a core team in the Alliance Hall of Kings and obtained 1,000 gold coins from the Alliance members. Half of the gold coins were used to recruit golden behemoths, but 7 of them died overnight. With the remaining 500 gold coins, he planned to bid for snake armor. The losses suffered by the Baiman team are too great. They must be replenished. There's no other way. I can only give up on the snake armor. In terms of equipment and level, he could still distinguish which was more important. The young man reluctantly gave up on the snake armor and used up the remaining 500 gold coins to recruit another 10 golden behemoths. Together with the ones he already had, he now had a total of 17 golden behemoths. For a moment, he felt like he was back on track. No matter what, my strength is definitely the strongest among all the overlords on the island. What does it matter if I don't have equipment? Level is the most important. Today's goal is to advance to the second level. I want to widen the gap in levels between me and the other overlords as quickly as possible. The young man was full of motivation and immediately dispatched the expanded Golden Behemoth squad out of the territory. Who could compete with 17 Apex level units? The jungle where Lin Yu is located. The mountains are continuous, and the dense forest is deep. Not only are there a large number of high-level wild monsters, but there are also many strongholds built by indigenous intelligent creatures, with the Goblin tribe being just one of them. In terms of wilderness resources, this jungle is very abundant. But at the same time, it is also more dangerous. A slight carelessness will result in being besieged by a group of monsters, ending up in a messy situation. However, for the Angel Squad, it's not a big problem. After all, it's daytime. High-level wild monsters generally don't go out, unless they accidentally intrude into the territory of high-level wild monsters. With a swish, a brilliant sword light flashed through the shade of the trees, instantly beheading a large wolf. At the same time, golden flames descended, forcing the other wolves on the battlefield to retreat, preventing the owner of the sword light from being surrounded by the pack of wolves. Immediately after, a cross-shaped sword light descended from the sky. Suddenly, another wolf was killed. Under the perfect coordination of the Angel Squad, The number of wolves on the battlefield became fewer and fewer until they were all eliminated by the angel squad. During this process, some timid wolves were scared and fled the battlefield, attempting to escape. But on the ground, how could they outrun those flying in the sky? They were quickly caught up to and fell under the sword light of the angel's sword. The battle is over. Clean up the battlefield. Beautiful figures gathered from nearby. It was Aida and the others. They were surrounded by holy light, not a drop of wolf blood staining them, pure and beautiful. They were already very skilled in cleaning up the battlefield, quickly collecting the gold coins dropped by the wolves. Then, a group of goblins hiding in the surrounding jungle were summoned. They were ordered to transport the wolf corpses on the battlefield back to their territory. We've collected 45 gold coins. With 5 more gold coins, Lord Overlord can summon another 2-winged angel, Aida said excitedly. The other angels were also full of enthusiasm upon hearing this. Their obsession with gold coins even surpassed their desire to improve their own levels and strength. Level and strength improvement cannot be achieved in a short period of time, but killing monsters and obtaining gold coins can bring more angels into this world. Whether the angel clan can achieve revival in this world depends on whether they are diligent enough. Just at this moment, a panicked goblin ran over and said, "Holy envoy, I found a group of 2-headed demons hunting a giant python in the dense forest ahead." 2-headed demons? Aida raised an eyebrow and asked, "How many are there?" The goblin warrior replied, "There are about a dozen, led by a 2-headed demon. I can't determine its exact level, but it definitely won't exceed level 9. Above level 9 is the king level. King level 2-headed demons are not common. Even if they exist, they are either the strong ones in large tribes or the chiefs of small tribes. They generally don't personally go out to hunt wild monsters, as it would lower their status. Not exceeding level 9, we can give it a try. The higher the level of the monster, the more gold coins it drops. It's worth the risk." After discussing for a while, the angels reached a unanimous decision. They let the goblin warrior lead the way ahead. As for the other goblins, they continued to stay behind and transport the wolf corpses. Goblin warriors have weak combat power, so their participation in the battle would only be a hindrance. It's better for them to do logistical work. Not long after, led by the goblin warrior, the angel squad arrived near the dense forest where the 2-headed demons were hunting. The goblin warrior trembled as he said, "Holy envoy, those 2-headed demons are inside." Listening to the roars coming from the dense forest, Aida nodded slightly and instructed the goblin warrior, "Stay here and don't get close." "Yes, holy envoy." The goblin warrior immediately breathed a sigh of relief. His strength was insignificant, and he couldn't help the holy envoy. Instead of causing trouble by going in, it was better to obediently stay outside and wait for orders. Aida and the others flapped their angel wings behind them and flew from the sky into the battlefield within the dense forest. Flight was one of the advantages of angels. Especially when facing enemies without flight capabilities, the advantage brought by this is astonishing, and it can even win against stronger opponents. Angels have extremely fast flying speeds. In less than a minute, Aida and the others arrived above the battlefield. Looking down, they saw a group of humanoid monsters with 1 big and 1 small head, attacking a colorful python. The python was clearly at a disadvantage. Its body was covered in wounds, and its scales were scattered on the ground. It roared and howled, rolling, twisting, and thrashing around. But it couldn't escape the encirclement of the 2-headed demons. It was about to meet its end. In the sky, 7 beautiful and holy figures stood proudly. With an almost condescending gaze, they looked down at the battlefield below. The petite and delicate angel, Sally, said, 13 2-headed demons, average level 6, and the leader of the 2-headed demons is level 8. The dying python is a level 7 monster. We can fight." Aida nodded slightly and added, "The leather armor and warehouse blueprint we obtained yesterday were dropped by a level 7 monster." Overlord was very happy when he received the spoils. Upon hearing this, the angel's eyes sparkled. Their desire for battle grew stronger. Without hesitation, the 7 two-winged angels dove towards the battlefield from different directions. Just as the python was about to be killed by the two-headed demons, the angels' attacks arrived. Aida took the lead and unleashed the angelic combat skill, Holy Cross Sword. In an instant, the dazzling cross-shaped sword light crossed a distance of tens of meters and directly beheaded the level 7 python. The python was already on the brink of death, weakened to the extreme, and naturally couldn't resist or evade Aida's swift strike. It was instantly killed. This sudden attack also stunned the two-headed demons on the battlefield. They couldn't recover for a long time. Having two heads on their shoulders didn't make them smarter. Instead, it occasionally caused them to fall into a state of confusion, just like now. It wasn't until the screams of their companions sounded. The other two-headed demons finally reacted. But by this time, 6 of their companions had already been killed by the enemy. Damn it! Where did these winged creatures come from? How dare they oppose our two-headed demon tribe? The leader of the two-headed demons roared in anger. He swung his wolf-toothed club and charged towards the angel Vina. Vina, level 5. She didn't choose to directly confront the leader of the two-headed demons. Instead, she quickly flapped her angel wings and retreated, flying into the air. At the same time, she swung her angelic sword, unleashing golden flames. The leader of the two-headed demons charged too fiercely and was directly engulfed by the golden flames. He screamed in pain. However, he wasn't burned to death. He even timely released the magic power within him, condensing it into a shield to block the power of the golden flames. "You damn winged creature, I'll kill you." "Kill her. Kill her quickly." Both heads of the leader of the two-headed demons were screaming. The nearly 2-meter-long wolf-toothed club in his hand swung wildly, unleashing magic power that formed huge wind blades, sweeping towards the angel, Vina, in the air. Holy light slash. Holy cross sword. Nearby, multiple angels were unleashing their combat skills. They continuously shattered the wind blades. Although there were still some stragglers, they posed no threat to the angel, Vina. She took the opportunity to fly higher into the sky and charge into the battlefield from another direction, attacking the other two-headed demons. The leader of the two-headed demons immediately wanted to pursue, but he was intercepted by the nearby angel, Josie, and forcibly dragged into battle. From the beginning of the battle, the leader of the two-headed demons fell into a berserk state, attempting to kill Josie, who was blocking his path, in a short amount of time. However, Josie didn't directly confront him. As soon as she saw the leader of the two-headed demons using his ultimate move, she flapped her angel wings and flew into the air. And when the leader of the two-headed demons ran out of steam, other nearby angels immediately attacked. This was a typical strategy of taking turns to wear down the enemy, combined with kiting tactics. At the same time, it created opportunities for other angels. Sure enough, not long after, there was only the leader of the two-headed demons left on the battlefield. The other two-headed demons had already been cleared by Aida and the others. Seeing the 7 angels closing in, the leader of the two-headed demons finally felt fear. He wanted to escape but found that all his escape routes were blocked by the angels. 7 angels held swords of golden flames and surrounded the dual-headed demon leader. The dual-headed demon leader immediately looked terrified and asked, "Where did you winged creatures come from? The dark forest has never seen your presence." The tall angel, Aida, stepped forward. Her expression on her beautiful face was almost indifferent. She stood with her sword and said to the dual-headed demon leader, "We are angels, followers of the Lord of Holy Light. Our Lord is merciful and gives you a chance for self-redemption. Believe in our Lord, and the Holy Light will grant you eternal life." "Lord of Holy Light? I have never heard of it." The dual-headed demon leader said without hesitation, "My dual-headed demon clan is descended from giants and only worships the great Titan, the true God. You followers of the evil gods cannot distort my soul and will. Blasphemy against our Lord, you shall perish." The 7 angels, led by Aida, instantly attacked the dual-headed demon leader. Originally, they had hoped that the dual-headed demon leader would surrender obediently so that they could spread the faith of the Lord of Holy Light. But now, it was no longer necessary. Blasphemy against the true Lord could only be atoned with death. Swish, 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 swish. Brilliant sword lights slashed towards the dual-headed demon leader from all directions. In an instant, the dual-headed demon leader was left with bloody sword wounds all over his body. The dual-headed demon leader was unwilling to die here. He swung his wolf-tooth club frantically, unleashing his demonic power to create a storm that swept across the battlefield. However, this kind of area attack could not harm the angel squad at all. Each angel was enveloped in a shield of holy light, formed by the power of their faith, easily resisting the tearing of the demonic storm. The dual-headed demon leader was of high level, reaching level 8. But the angels were a super apex level unit, possessing the ability to kill enemies of higher levels. If the angels present were only level 5, it would indeed be difficult to surround and kill the dual-headed demon leader, who was an 8th level professional. However, there were exceptions. Both Aida and Sally had reached level 6. Their angelic combat skills were enough to pose a deadly threat to the dual-headed demon leader. Soon, the battle entered a white-hot state. In the field, the sword lights were sharp, and the holy flames burned fiercely. The dual-headed demon leader roared and entered a berserk state once again, fighting against the 7 angels with all his might. For a short time, he did not fall behind. However, this was only temporary. As time passed, more and more sword wounds appeared on the dual-headed demon leader. His body also began to weaken. Swoosh! Suddenly, a sword light flashed on the battlefield, dazzling and radiant. With the flash of the sword light, one of the dual-headed demon leader's heads was cut off on the spot. The intense pain made the dual-headed demon leader let out a heart-wrenching scream. The wolf-tooth club he wielded was also affected and no longer invincible. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the angels swarmed in. The angelic swords continuously slashed at the dual-headed demon leader. In the blink of an eye, the dual-headed demon leader was killed on the spot. At the same time, golden angelic flames swept over, burning the dual-headed demon leader's body into ashes, even purifying his soul. The battle started quickly and ended quickly. The 7 angels made their move together, giving the dual-headed demon leader enough face. What a pity for an 8th level believer. Angel Vina looked somewhat regretful and indifferent as she looked at the burning angelic flames on the ground. Faintly, one could see a humanoid creature lying within the flames. Angel Sally shook her head and said, "After all, we are not 4-winged archangels who possess the divine arts of faith. Charging into battle is our main duty. In a situation where the level difference is 2 levels, our angelic flames cannot forcefully purify the soul of this heretic." Aida, with an indifferent expression, said, "A heretic who blasphemes against our Lord. If they die, they die. They are not worthy of pity." Upon hearing this, the other angels immediately stopped speaking. To them, the glory of the Lord of Holy Light was supreme. Any creature that blasphemes the Holy Light is their enemy. Even if the enemy is the true God, they dare to confront them with swords. Afterwards, the angels began to clean up the battlefield. The bodies of the 2-headed demons were of no use, mainly collecting the items they dropped. Gold coins, equipment. After a while, all the loot was collected. Aida organized them and said, "We've collected over 70 gold coins. As expected, the higher the level of the enemy, the more gold coins they drop. We also obtained the weapon, the double-headed demon leader's wolf fawn club, and a blueprint." Overlord said that equipment and blueprints are good things and have high value. Sally, Josie, and others were also very happy. 70+ gold coins meant that they would have more companions coming to this world. I leveled up. Me too. Suddenly, Vina and Josie spoke up, their beautiful faces showing even more joy. Their levels had risen to level 6. Helen, Ada, and Phyllis, the 3 sisters, also expressed that they were not far from leveling up. The death of the level 8 double-headed demon leader brought them a lot of primal power. Yesterday, Aida and Sally had to kill hundreds of wild monsters to reach level 6 because those wild monsters were not high level. The lowest level of the double-headed demon squad they just fought was level 5. Among them were 2 level 7 demons, 1 level 8 demon, and a level 7 giant python. Naturally, they obtained a lot of primal power. Let's continue to work hard. Aida nodded slightly, revealing her swan-like white neck, and said, "Strive to reach level 6 before the end of today's hunt." As for Aida and Sally, their goal was level 7. If the two of them reached level 7, even if Overlord didn't summon the four-winged angel, they would have the confidence to lead the team and break through the goblin tribe. "Sally, you lead the hunt. I'll bring these spoils back to the territory and give them to Overlord." "Okay." Sally, a petite and cute angel, nodded and smiled brightly, saying, "I'm sure Overlord will be very happy when he sees the spoils. It is our honor to serve Overlord." After saying that, Aida flew into the sky with the spoils and headed straight towards the territory. At this time, Lin Yu was indeed very happy. Another blueprint that he had been longing for had dropped. How could his mood not be good? Besides the blueprint, there is also a piece of equipment. The equipment was dropped by the Angel Squad when they killed the level 8 double-headed demon leader, and the blueprint came from a level 7 variegated silver python. The specific information is still unknown. Lin Yu was not in a hurry. He had already sensed that Aida was returning to the territory at high speed. Soon, the spoils would be delivered into his hands. By then, he would know the attributes of the equipment and what the blueprint was for. Taking advantage of this time, Lin Yu called over a goblin warrior who was decomposing monster corpses and asked, "Is there a double-headed demon tribe in the nearby mountains and forests?" "Yes, great overlord." The goblin warrior respectfully replied, "In the southern part of your territory, about 8 kilometers away, there is a double-headed demon tribe. This tribe is very powerful, and the chieftain is a king-level powerhouse." When mentioning the double-headed demon tribe, there was a hint of resentment in the goblin warrior's expression. This was because their goblin tribe was often bullied by the double-headed demon tribe. They had to regularly hand over resources, and sometimes unlucky goblins would be smashed to death by the double-headed demons. A king-level powerhouse? Lin Yu took a deep breath. This was only his second day on Floating Island. His territory had already become involved with a local power ruled by a king-level powerhouse, and it was even a relationship of hatred. He didn't know whether to be happy or worried. But Lin Yu himself wasn't afraid. Before the territory reached the town level, he had the power of the rules of Floating Island to protect him. He didn't have to worry about his own safety at all. However, the angel squad that went out hunting needed to be cautious. Soon, Aida returned to the territory, and Lin Yu immediately informed her of the information about the double-headed demon tribe and the king-level double-headed demon race leader.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.